All right, 805. Let's have a look. You ready?
Ready. Up high.
Okay.
Headshot. Gave him a haircut. Right in the face. In torso. Same.
Huh.
Good group, little on the left.
It's not too terrible for 200 yards, is it?
Nope. Favoring the left side though.
Yep. I think earlier we were adjusting this thing out for a little wind, and I think our wind has died down.
Maybe.
That's all right.
Nice, dead center. Good. Good. That's a little to the left. About 8 o'clock.
This thing's not too terrible at all. Let's see.
Good hit. Right next to that one. You're good. Wonderful group. Wow. Keep putting them right there. That one was a little bit lower. That one was low-ish at 9 o'clock. Good.
Yeah, it's starting to string around a little bit.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
Nope. Nice. Good. That was on the right side. Off the right side. Good. Favoring the right edge there, but not bad.
Not too terrible there. Guys, welcome back. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we're going to be talking about the CZ Bren 805 S1. I know that's a mouthful. There's some really neat things about it we're going to talk about as we go, some interesting features. So basically, the Czechs have always been known for producing some really cool gun designs, okay? And over the years, they've came out with some really interesting pistols and rifles. A lot of you are probably familiar with the VZ58, which was a gun that served them pretty dang well from the late 50s on up through, I want to say that rifle was replaced in the early 80s. And of course, like a lot of countries in that part of the world in the 80s, you know, a lot of them were switching over to AK-74s and things like that. The flatter shooting 5.45 by 39 being, you know, an option that definitely a lot of people like to, get to back then. I guess for just compatibility and having similar ammo to all the people around them. The 74s were just kind of the king of that, I guess, era there. However, they really weren't happy with the aging VZ58s, which did remain in service to some degree, even on up through when the 74s were replaced with this particular rifle. Around 2005 or so, they started up their program that they had once kind of laid down to develop basically this new service rifle. Okay, they wanted to replace their 74s, and you know, because the Czechs are the Czechs, they wanted something really crazy and different than anything else that was out there. Well, enter the 805. There's definitely some different variants and different barrel lengths and things that were available. Obviously, the early guns were, of course, select fire. This is an import version, so obviously it's a semi-automatic only. But I believe they had like a 2-shot burst, full auto function, which is really cool. And the gun does give a lot of nods to the Scar Light in a way. One could even argue that it's kind of a bastard or or maybe an evil cousin to the Scar series. One thing that gives it its Scar-like appearance and function is the reciprocating charging handle, which is exactly the same type of thing that you see in a Scar. Okay, the charging handle can be switched to either side of the rifle, which is really cool. You've got pick rails on the top and bottom of the gun. You've got an adjustable gas system, so if you want to run suppressor, it does have a suppressor setting. These guns ship with flip-up iron sights, which of course we're running ACOG. This is a TA31 RCO, I believe, RCO-2. RCO-2, yeah, the TA31. And this one is sitting in the Geisley Super Precision mount, and I've got it mounted back pretty far. I could probably stand to mount this back a little bit further, but with that rear sight on there, I decided not to pull it off. I find that for my taste, I probably should have opted to bring this back a little bit more, but on the eye relief with the ACOGs, that's something you're going to deal with. It is a very short eye relief. The gun does have a 16-inch barrel that's cold hammer forged. It's a 1 7-inch twist, right hand. You've got a 1/2 by 28 threaded muzzle. So that's one thing that I would imagine for American shooters. For the export version of the famous 805, they opted for a lot more Americanized type features. I don't know what the threading is on the military guns, but I'm sure 1/2 by 28 is no mistake. They know that a lot of shooters want a 1/2 by 28 threading. They got a lot of complaints on the CZ Scorpions that they were bringing in, and I think they changed that in pretty quick order. A lot of people were kind of ticked about the bogus threads on the early guns. I believe now all the CZ Scorpions that are coming in, the second version or whatever, the newer versions all have 1/2 by 28 threads on the muzzle, which is great, okay? Keeps it nice and short. You don't have to run some kind of adapter on that particular gun. Now, back to the 805. From the lower part, one thing that they changed from the military gun uses rock-in style mags that are kind of like clear, you know, and everything. And they have actually a paddle on the bottom for rocking in the mags, kind of like an AK variant would be. For this particular import version, they opted for Stanag style magazines. Now, that's great for American shooters, but interestingly enough, the second version of this gun, the 806, the improved version of the 805, they went back to the drawing board and they made a bunch of changes to the 805. And the current Czech military rifle is the 806S, or what we call the 806S2, basically. And it is a much more modular, lighter weight, and improved version of the 805. So this is, despite being a newer style of rifle, it is already in the process of being replaced and has been replaced in Czech military service. However, one major change is that they did opt for Stanag magazine compatibility in the 806, which is, interestingly enough, I think a pretty important move on their part. All right, so going back further, it's a pretty modular trigger pack. We are going to pull the gun apart. It's relatively easy to break down and clean. We'll go over that in a moment. But going further back, basically you have a folding stock, and it is adjustable with 4 positions. All right, so pretty simple there. You have sling point mounts on the rear of the gun on both sides and on the front of the gun on both sides. So that's kind of cool. The gun already comes with sling point mounts. The gun weighs about 8.5 pounds unloaded. So definitely a little heftier than its evil cousin, the Scar. You can see where this gun definitely gives some nods to the Scar. One complaint I do have about the rifle is that when you're running this particular gun suppressed, you do get quite a bit of gas back even on the suppressor setting. And that really, you know, the way that these 2 huge cuts are right here, the gun is pretty gassy. Okay, so you are going to get some gas and everything like that. It is a piston-driven gun. I would venture to say short stroke piston, because you know you have an actuating piston back here, very similar to let's say SKS or something like that. How it has almost like that little tappet, and the actual piston itself is relatively short and kind of captured up near the block. It's very similar to that, whereby the Scar Heavy and the Scar Light have basically what is essentially a long piston kind of built in and machined into the carrier. That's one area with these guns that I feel is a little bit superior to the Scar in a way, is the fact that you don't have that heavy carrier driving rearward. When we disassemble the gun, you'll see that the actual carrier is not quite as heavy. One thing about the Scar is with that heavy carrier, you are going to get a lot more kind of forces exerted on the firearm itself. If you want to see how good an optic is going to hold up on a gun, a Scar is really the way to do it. Because Scars beat up optics, because what happens? You've got that huge mass of metal that travels rearward, hits, okay, that's fine and everything, it slows it down, but then what happens? When that bolt slams forward, all that mass has to stop, and that kind of inertia and mass and abrupt nature that bolt reciprocates in really plays heck on optics. Now that's one thing I think that the Bren has over the Scar, is it's definitely not going to beat up optics like a Scar could potentially do. I like the standard AR-15 magazine compatibility. That's really cool. It is a pretty much, I would say, 95% ambidextrous rifle. You do have a safety located on either side, and obviously because this is a import version, it is semi-automatic only. You have safe and fire. You have a magazine release that is located on either side of the firearm. The bolt stop, manual bolt stop, can only be reached from the left side of the gun. So if you run the charging handle on the right side, if you do want to manually lock the bolt to the rear, you're still going to have to contend with the left side of the gun. Obviously, the bolt does hold to the rear on the last shot. Pretty simple there. Other than that, it's pretty much your standard fare. Accuracy is pretty respectable. With good ammunition, you might get maybe 2.5 minute groups with good ammo, and the stars aligning perfectly. Some of our initial results, even with 77 grain match, 4 minutes is about the best we could get out of it. Now, in the defense of this gun, I strongly believe that ACOGs are not exactly the kind of precision optics for shooting like tiny little groups. This is more of a combat style optic, and I thought that it would really pair well with a rifle like this because it is kind of a battle rifle. The gun does have some heft to it, but it does balance well. Offhand, it points very naturally, okay? We are going to disassemble the gun really quick. I do have another shooter here. I want to get his opinion on this little rifle here. All right, so to disassemble the gun, you basically pull the front pin. This is really simple, and I'm going to show you another little trick too. You're going to pull the front pin, pivot downward, and the lower drops right out. That's a pretty simple overall arrangement, and of course the magazine wells built into the lower and the grip housing. Pretty simple overall arrangement. The grip profile is very comfortable. Definitely not AR-like. So for people that are in the not a AR category, this is definitely a great rifle for people that want something in 5.56 that takes AR mags, but is not an AR. Okay, so that's handy there. I'm going to show you a little trick here. When you take your pins out of the receiver, there's two little slots here on the back side of the stock. You take your pins, and that's to hold your pins so they don't get lost. Pretty sure that's supposed to just click down in there. And of course, I'm not holding my mouth right, but those pins are supposed to just hang out right there in the stock so you don't lose them. All right, so the rear pin pops out, very little pressure there required. And I don't know if those pins will fall out or if they'll just kind of stay there, but that's the intended purpose of those two holes, I promise, is for those pins to be captured. To disassemble the gun further, basically you don't really have to unfold the stock if you don't want to, but leave the stock open. Push this little button here, pull down gently, okay? Your recoil guide rod assembly will kind of just pop out of the back like that. Pull it to the rear. It's captured very much like an AK or other type of similar gun like that. Your charging handle lifts right out. You can see it's got a keyed notch in the receiver so that you can't put it in the wrong way. It'll only go back in the gun one way. And of course, if I wanted to, I would simply just change it over to the right side of the firearm, and then there you go. You got a right side charging handle, okay? But because it is attached to the carrier, it does reciprocate. All right, bolt carrier comes right out. Now here's the major difference between the Bren and the Scar. You can see that the carrier is considerably lighter. The Scar has a lot more mass on the carrier, which really gives it a much more violent recoil impulse, which we've already talked about. So if we had to draw conclusions about what's good and what's bad about the two rifles, I would say the way the rifles operate, the Scar is probably more accurate by a pretty good margin, but the Scar also costs $800 to $1,000 more than this gun. These guns retail for like $1,500 to $1,700, so they're almost $1,000 cheaper than the Scar, which is definitely cool. I know some people will accept no substitute when it comes to a not an AR type category. The Scar is an excellent rifle, but for the cost of this gun and what they bring, I mean, they really are pretty reasonable. So there's your bolt carrier group in terms of field stripping. Of course, the gas system comes apart, and you can pull the piston and spring and return spring and all that out of the front for cleaning, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on here. I'm gonna put the gun back together. We're gonna top off the mag, shoot one more mag out of it, and then I'm gonna turn it over to another shooter and I've got a special guest today, and he's gonna have a couple of shots. Let's do it. All right, that first mag of ammo that I shot there was some of this black box M855 from Freedom. We're gonna try some 77 grain hollow point boat tail ammo from Freedom just to see how it shoots. This is a fast twist barrel, so you should be able to stabilize the 77 no problem. We're just gonna shoot and have a little fun with the gun here and just see how it does. I expect the point of aim to be slightly different, but we'll see. Favoring low, isn't it?
Yep, a little bit.
All right, let me try to bring my point of aim up a bit. I'm gonna try the popper there on the right. Let's see. At 300.
Okay, gotcha now. Hit the gong. Yeah, right underneath it.
Underneath the 8-inch popper?
No, you were, well, yes, but it was more like on the left of the popper underneath the gong. Didn't see that one. Yeah, you're hitting about 4 o'clock on the gong, right on the edge of it. Like, still left of the popper. Next to the big gong.
What the heck?
4 o'clock.
Boy, it is hitting considerably to a different point of aim than that 62 grain stuff.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, let me try bringing my hold over to the right a good bit here.
There you go, smacked it. Same spot. That one was about 6 inches lower. Good. Nice hit. That's a good group going on. Just above. Above. Right above, 12 o'clock high.
I see that. All right, I'll tell you what, now that I think I know where to aim with this thing, it looks like the rounds are favoring to the left a good bit compared to the 0 on the 62. Could just be the way it's slinging this particular bullet. Let me try a headshot on the Coyote over there to the left just for fun.
Gotcha.
Well, gun's not shooting too terrible. And guys, like we mentioned before, we have shot this gun out to 6, and it does a pretty good job. We've shot the Scar Light and the 805 out to 6. And I mean, 600 yards, definitely no problem. It'll do it. The 16-inch barrel. It is a reasonably lightweight profile barrel. It's not a super heavy barrel. But for a lightweight barrel, it doesn't shoot too bad. We are kind of shooting quick here. All right, let's try that Coyote.
Go for it. Above. Right above the neck. Same spot. In front of its eyeball, about 3 inches.
I'm trying to lob it right in there. Let's see.
Right above the ear. Same spot. Oh, just barely missed him.
That joker.
Off the right of its face. Couple inches. Oh man, that was so close.
That's a tough one. All right, guys, we're gonna have Remington Little take some shots here. We got some 62 grain M855 from Freedom loaded up in these mags. We're gonna opt to get away from the 77s for the moment. The 62s seem to be shooting a little bit more consistently for us. So Remington, here's a good shot, so hopefully he can back that up.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, anybody can shoot better than I can today. I'm whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. This is smooth.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Looks like your elevation's perfect. Your windage is off just a hair.
Okay.
You hit like 3 inches to the left of the plate.
Okay. Going for those circle ones on the right at 200.
Gotcha. Looks like you might be going right beneath them.
Okay.
Bring your hold up just a bit. Right under it. Good windage. Good
there
shot.
We go. All right. Yeah, it's a little bit higher for holding than what I was expecting.
Yep, yep. Good shot. There you go. Good shooting.
Nice. All right, try 250.
250.
Big gong.
Whenever you're ready. Keep doing that.
Man, I love this gun. That's real smooth.
Good shot on the gopher there at 250.
Alrighty.
Yeah, you had about 4 shots triangulate into probably about a 4 or 5 inch group there at 250. Not too terrible.
Not too bad.
No, not at all.
For a service rifle, not bad.
No.
All right.
I did get a pretty good little string on that popper on the right there.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna go for the coyote.
Yeah, I know. He was elusive.
He was. Let's see.
Whenever you're ready. Right over his back.
Okay.
Good windage. Right over his neck. Good windage. Good center mass hit. Do that again. Hit a little low. Hit him in the leg there. Good. Good triangulation.
All right.
Very good.
Let's see.
You'd have a dead coyote there.
Nice.
Good shooting. What are you shooting at?
The gopher on the left, the coyote.
Go for it. Just past his nose. Good shot. Do that again. Good shot. Keep doing that.
Was I center on the gopher?
Pretty well center, maybe just slightly to the right, but you're on him. Those last 2 shots, you stacked them right on top of each other at 300 yards.
All right.
Can't ask for better than that.
No. And the trigger really isn't that bad. It's no Geisley, but you can make it work for you.
Yep. For a military trigger, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
These guns are growing on me. I like them a good bit. Good shot. Right in the head.
Liked that one.
You're getting him. Oh, just to the left. You missed right behind his little noggin.
All right, all right.
Game time.
Let's see. Try to go for a headshot.
Okay, go for a headshot. Go for a headshot. One of my cheesy puns. Just to the right. Split the difference.
Let's go left a bit.
Yep, just right behind his head.
I'm having to aim like right between the vertical line and then where the donut cuts out.
Yep. The animal targets are a challenge. You know, it's an odd shape.
I'm going for the silhouette.
Okay.
Let's see.
Whenever you're ready. Good. Keep doing that.
That's satisfying.
Good shooting. Yeah, you put about 4 rounds again into maybe a 4 or 5 inch circle. Not terrible.
Not bad for some fast shooting.
Yeah, for a battle gun too, you know. And that little light barrel doesn't seem to be whipping around too terribly.
No.
That's one thing I noticed about the Scar, you know, that they will whip around a bit. To be fair, you know, both guns have a relatively light profile barrel,
Right.
which can translate to some, you know, a little bit of whipping around as they heat up.
That's true.
Well, we have to be fair.
All right, going for the popper on the right that you were hammering.
You got it. About a foot over the top.
Over the top, okay.
Yep. Six inches right over the top, good windage. Good shot. Keep doing it. Good. Just over the top. Good shot. You're on it.
Nice. Gopher.
Just to the left of his head by about 2 inches. Same difference, but to the right that time. Are you seeing what I'm talking about with the ACOGs and precision shooting?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not really a precision optic, especially the ones with the donut style reticles like that.
Right.
But they certainly do a pretty good job of being just an easy optic to kind of track and work with, you know?
Right, and most of the time, you're not going to be trying to shoot these tiny targets at long range. If you're using this for hunting purposes or something like that.
That's right.
A little bit bigger of a
Yep.
impact area.
They have their uses, you know. Different optics have a lot of different range of use for them.
Mm-hmm.
Just to the left. Just to the left. Just to the right.
So,
you're literally kind of dancing all around an area that's about his little head's only like 2 inches.
yeah.
It's small.
I wonder if that's just the gun.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm thinking that it's probably just the accuracy limitations of the gun, but you got to think, all of those rounds, even with the misses included, are probably 5 or so inches, which is pretty dang good for a battle gun, you know?
For 300?
You are asking a battle rifle to be a target rifle, to be fair.
Exactly. You have to be fair about that.
Yep. Barely past the left edge of his head. A little low in the body.
Gotcha.
You got him.
Oh, that's it.
I promise you wouldn't want to be standing down there.
No, at least I got him on the last shot.
That's right.
Very fun.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. I definitely want to thank Remington for hanging out here with us today with the 805. Glad you got to shoot it. You like it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really sweet shooting gun. Surprisingly, I really like it.
Good deal. Well, hey, thanks for coming out, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So it's kind of a co-op review here today with the 805. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let them know your handle there on Instagram.
Right. You can follow me at Little Remington, all one word, and Remington spelled just like the gun company. I put up a lot of cool content, some shooting pictures, some outdoors pictures for fly fishing, camping, stuff like that. It's a good time.
Good for you. Hey guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Take care.